Trenton Worsham and Josh Lau here with SoundlinkTV, hanging out with Gage Speas, a frontman and a hat maker for To Speak of Wolves. He is not a hat maker for To Speak of Wolves, but he is the frontman for that band. He does make hats also. So, Gage, how are you doing, my guy?
Dude, I'm doing great. Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
It's been a long time. Like, you were one of my very first interviews a very, very long time ago when we started this thing. And then we did a show with you guys at Ground Zero I think it was like before COVID. I almost broke out my baseball tee of
the wolf paw.
Yes, I still got that hanging in my closet. I almost broke that out
That's
tonight.
Awesome.
I think that was the show I booked, wasn't it? Because I know I booked you guys down here in South Carolina for that one tour. And I think that was it. I think it's the only time y'all been down here.
It was at Ground Zero. It was a one-off show on a tour. Like, y'all were getting ready to kick it off like the next night.
Oh,
it wasn't the whole.
It was us and that one band.
Was it He Is Legend? Was it the He Is Legend tour?
Maybe. Yes, because it was.
Because He Is Legend wasn't on that tour.
No, but it was the other. It was the other main support. I can't remember what they were called. Islander.
Yes, Islander. Because Islander is also local guys. They're from Greenville.
Are they still a band?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mikey just had a baby.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, Mikey's wife just had a baby, but so
he's a singer.
He's the lead singer.
Okay, yeah, because we toured those dudes. They were cool. We just didn't hang with them too much, But they were nice dudes,
Yeah.
I've known Mikey for a long time. I used to have a recording studio with a buddy of mine, and we used to throw some house shows every now and again. And Kyle actually has a video somewhere of Mikey hanging from the rafters of his dad's house in his living room, screaming upside down. It's wonderful.
That's hilarious. That's freaking awesome. Yeah,
so
that was a fun tour.
So how have you been? It's been a minute.
Yeah, dude. It's been good, man. It's been good. All the dudes are either on the road or kind of own their own businesses or something, So yeah, Andrew plays guitar for Maddie and Tay, the country band. He's their
polar
thing just
opposite.
died. Yeah, 1 second. Sorry, dudes.
Oh, you
Pause.
Good? All
right, we're back. Sorry, my light died. I'm not a good influencer. But yeah, so Andrew's playing guitar for Maddie and Tay, and he's their band leader, and he manages a few barber shops here in town. And then Alex, our bass player, Seth stepped away. I don't know. Seth stepped away 5 or 6 months ago. He had a baby, and I think he's about to have another kid, maybe. But he's we're all we all love him. He's amazing. We're still best buds, But then we got our buddy Alex to step in, and he plays. He's an auxiliary kind of dude for this chick named Ella Langley, who's a monster in the country world, in a good way. Not she's a monster. I mean, in a good way. She's blowing up. She's doing great,
It's very scary. She's a very scary country singer.
Very scary woman. No, she's killer. But and then yeah, Phil makes websites and plays golf all day.
Yeah, I see that all the time. He was just posting a picture the other day of him and his kids playing golf.
Yeah,
so Phil has a kid, and then he turns into the golf dad, or he's on the golf course.
He's got two boys. Yeah, Phil's got 2 boys. Lives in this killer mountain town in North Carolina. It's awesome. And he and his wife own a salon out there. It's really, really cool. He's crushing. So, and then yeah, I'm in Nashville. All of us are in Nashville except for Phil. And then Josh manages a barber shop as well and cuts hair, and he plays guitar for another some other country dude that I don't know who. But yeah, I just hang out and make hats all day. So I work at a hat shop, and I get to sell my company out of it, So it's I go home, I go to work on hats, I come home, and I work on all my hats. So I just work constantly. So I'm actually really surprised that we just recorded a new EP, because we're it's a band filled with the busiest dudes you've ever met. It's crazy. So yeah.
Well, let's
So
talk
how did
about
you
that EP a little bit.
Yeah, it's awesome. It was brewing for a long time. Like we knew we wanted to write something. We put out some singles, like every once in a while. Andrew and I'd kind of write something up and like pitch to the dudes, and everyone come to town to record, and we just put it out. And then we knew we wanted to do an EP, and I had a lot to say. I had like the worst year of my life last year, like diabolical. Like lost everything, right? Like, dude, divorced, like car repoed, like evicted out of my house with 2 kids, like trying to make this hat company work. I mean, it was I just had a lot to say.
Yeah.
And so I had just gone through this like really hard year, and Andrew and I were talking a lot, like, hey, we should maybe like do an EP. And we're kind of always writing demos. Andrew's always just kind of writing something, and I'm constantly like writing lyrics. So I kind of knew like what I wanted the tone to be lyrically. And I'd kind of tell Andrew like, hey, dude, I think for this song it'd be cool to have like a really big like kick-ass chorus, or like something really crazy. But I mean, Andrew totally took over for the EP. It literally wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for him, because he wrote like the entire thing. Everyone came in and put their spin on it. You know what I mean? But we got together a couple times, like threw some chorus ideas down and like some breakdown ideas, just like scratch vocals, right? And then so we did 6 songs, I think, 5 songs. Yeah, I don't. It's awesome. It feels special. You know what I mean? I feel like everyone put a lot into it, and that was really, really cool. And it was like extremely therapeutic for me. I've always been like a really honest lyricist, and it's great because the band just like the dudes are like, you could just say whatever you want to say. Like whatever. It's your job, So that was really cool, and I kind of just keep like a running list of like song names. You know what I mean? Like the EP is called Half King. My favorite song on the record is called Half King. I'm like so stoked for everyone to hear it. It's killer. It actually doesn't have that much screaming in it, which is crazy. And I was like, man, I don't know. I haven't sang in a long time. Like I might, and I'll just give you this little tidbit of info. Like I'm the worst dude to be in a band musically, because I don't really know how to count music, So they're like, hey, this is like a 5/8. I'm like, I don't even know what that means. They're like, this was
I was
4/4.
I was in band in high school, and I still don't get all that stuff today. Like if someone says that, like
so like
yeah.
I play in the church band, and like all the people that I play in the church band with are like, I'm a self-taught musician. Like I taught myself how to play guitar, I taught myself how to play bass, all sort of stuff. And like they talk all that lingo, and I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm like, just tell me when to come in.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, this is rocket science to me. I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm like, what does 4/4 even mean? Like, is it even real? No, I'm just kidding. But so it was funny. We recorded everything with our buddy Nate here in town. He's awesome, just like and he'd never even done heavy music before, right? Like that was the fun part. And so the dudes came into town. They had recorded all the music and everything, and they're like, all right, dude, you're up. Like, you're gonna go in Thursday, Friday, Saturday, whatever, go do all the tracks. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'd walked in, I met Nate, and I was like, hey, so listen. I was like, I don't know how to count music. And he was like, dude, you're great. Andrew already told me everything. I got everything set up for you. And I was like, oh my God. And I really I love to have like a big chunk of lyrics written, you know what I mean? Like I'll have like a chorus or something, but I'm like, hey, there's a bridge right here, this verse. Like I don't really know what the lyrics are yet, but I know that I have like my vocal pattern for it,
Yeah.
And a lot of what I do is like I'll just scroll through my phone and kind of find some lyrics, and if it kind of pulls at me, I'm like, oh, I think this would be really cool, and I kind of build off that a little bit, So Nate had already knew that, and he kind of created this whole space for me. It was awesome. We had like 2 different microphones, like this old like drum mic, dude. It was like from the 70s, and you had to sing across the face, so you couldn't sing directly into it. You can't like across, And it was this old janky mic that just sounded like you were singing through like a megaphone or something. You know, it had this, there was no effects on it, right? It was so cool, man. So I don't know, I had a lot of freedom, and it was cool because it was like, there's no, like, we're putting it out through our buddies in Cardigan, right, in North Carolina, and they're amazing. And Shane's always been so kind to us, and
they did your last EP, didn't they?
Yeah, they did the New Bones EP, and then like
I
the
remember
last
them.
record.
Ooh, hold on 1 second. I've got a surprise for you. Let's see, where's it at?
Oh,
I am right next to my vinyl collection.
Let's go, dude.
Oh, where's it at? It is right here. I was just looking at it the other day. I have got
it. He doesn't find it.
I've got it. It is all.
If y'all are listening to this in audio form and not watching this, Josh is currently looking for a vinyl on his record collection stand.
I promise you, I have it.
If it's the vinyl from the last release, I believe I have a copy as well in my stash somewhere over there.
Look, I've done moved. It's on the other side.
He's moved.
So Gage, while he's doing that, let me ask you this. You said you haven't done a lot of vocals in a while or made a lot of music. So how'd you, I guess, relearn how to do all that stuff? You haven't sang it forever. Did you have to take a little bit of
it? He's got it.
Yes.
He's got it. Yeah, dude.
But did you have to relearn how to, I guess, use your voice again?
No, not really. It's kind of, I know a lot of dudes do like a lot of big technique stuff. And they're like, I do the Zen of screaming. They have like, I don't know, whatever's the new thing now. I don't even know, right? But no, it was like I needed like a day to warm up. You know what I mean? And I would honestly just kind of like practice in my car, like driving to and from work, and just like kind of start screaming in my car because I'm just screaming. I'm like, if you were stabbing me in the back, that's what I would sound like. I'm just screaming my balls off, and but yeah, I think it kind of took more time in a sense to like kind of get back in that rhythm of like, okay, what's a cool vocal pattern right here? You know what I mean? Or like things like that. Like, but I kind of made this deal with myself that actually Micah Kennard from O Sleeper taught me, right? He was like, hey, when you're about to go record, like, don't listen to any heavy music. Just like
I've heard that before,
like when he did Son of the Morning, he was like, the only thing I listened to was like, I don't know, like Eminem or like Dr. Dre or something like that, right? He was like just and which makes so much sense because a lot of rap and hip hop is just vocal patterns, right? Like that's all it is. It's just it's the same beat and then a vocal pattern. And so I stole that from him. I steal everything from him. I rip him off more than anybody knows. Like if you just like do a deep dive into my lyrics, like you will see where I like have just straight up stolen lines from him. I'm like, what's he gonna do? Like nothing.
Now correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going through old pictures.
We need a metalcore feud. He has to see you now. We need a good metalcore feud. We haven't had one in like a decade.
Shit, he could try, dude. He's trying to open a restaurant right now. That boy's busy. Let's go, dude. I have a killer attorney. It's awesome. No,
but correct me if I'm wrong, because I was looking at old pictures from the Greenville show. You have an O Sleeper tattoo, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
I was pretty positive I saw that in one of my pictures.
Yeah, it's like my favorite line ever. It's for Banquet of Traders. It says, "My son, you can hold perfection in your arms if you wish." Yeah, that dude's like my favorite lyricist. He's like, he's like my big brother. I literally wouldn't be into Speak of Wolves if it weren't for the dudes in No Sleeper.
That sounds like a story there. Share a little bit if you can.
Yeah, of course. So I was selling merch for O Sleeper, and the goal was like to always get me in a band, right? So every night I'd go on stage and do guest vocals. I'm like, hey, I was a merch guy, but I'd go do guest vocals, and I was hoping like one of the bands we're on tour with, like, I'm like, maybe so-and-so is going to quit the band, like, when I'm on this tour, and, like, they'll just fly him home, and I can jump in and, like, be the next lead singer, of, like, Haste the Day or something. You know what I mean? Like, maybe Stephen Keach, who's, like, one of the best frontmen of our genre, like, maybe he'll just quit in the middle of this tour. Like,
I mean, to be fair, Haste the Day did have a little rotating door of members for a while, so that's actually plausible to think that did.
Yeah, I love Steven. Our kids went to the same school for a while, so it was like daddy pickup time. I'd like what's up, brother? You know, like the only two dudes with sleeves. You know, it's so funny. But yeah, man, it was so cool, and the sleeper dudes, you know, those guys they're amazing, and you know, like Lucas, like God rest his soul, he took like a real interest and like would really deep dive into it with me. And he was like, hey, look, like you need to start doing this. Like you need to email this band. Like you need to talk to these guys, you know? And I'm like, okay, cool. And, you know, it kind of came up that I think I was talking to Micah Dean, who is a dude who used to work for Tooth and Nail. Right. And he was an A&R there. And he's like, hey, there's this band on label called To Speak of Wolves, and they need a front man. And I was like, oh, okay, well, cool. Like, let me check them out. And I listened to them, and I was like, no, this ain't for me. Like, this isn't it. Like, I don't like this at all.
Well, what did you like about it?
I didn't like the vocals.
That guy sucks. It's terrible.
I'd seen them a couple times before you joined, and so I heard that first album and stuff, and the sound didn't change that much musically.
No,
so I'm like,
really
what didn't you like about it?
I just didn't like the dude's vocal patterns. Like his vocal patterns felt really weird. You know what I mean? And I hated his lyrics. I was just like, what does this even mean? Like, there's no depth. Like, there's no, you know what I mean? I'm like,
yeah.
Doesn't he hate someone? Doesn't he hate himself? Like, come on, you know, like let's dive in here. You know, so, and I was just like this young, big-headed kid who thought he was, you know, really, really cool because I was O Sleeper's merch guy, you know, and I'm like, I'm the best thing ever, you know, like, but you know, I remember I had this conversation with Micah one night. It was super late, and he's like, dude, I think you should go like try out for this band. And I was like, I don't think I should. Like, I don't know. I'm just not crazy about it. And he was like, no, dude, like we know those guys a little bit. Like it's a good camp. They're really good. Like Phil's amazing. Yeah, they're a young band, you know, like you should totally like just go try out. And I was like, well, all right, maybe. So I was 20, I think, and I got home from this tour. I'd blown all my money because I was 20 years old. Like, you know, I was gone for a month, and I probably made like $500. I blew it like as soon as I got home, you know. And I was like living with my dad and back in New Mexico, and I like just asked my dad. I was like, "Hey, will you?" And I'd been talking to Phil, right? Like Phil and I've been going back and forth on the phone a couple times. You know, like what kind of music do you like? And you know, blah, 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 kind of get to know each other and texting a little bit. And so I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to fly out. I'll try out. Right. So I told him, I was like, I'm going to come try out for your band and I'll fly in on this date or whatever. And then I was like, I didn't have any money, but I told these dudes I'm going to come try out for their band, which is like ridiculous. And I just told my dad, I was like, hey, will you buy me a one-way ticket to North Carolina? And my dad's like, what? And I'm like, I'm going to go try out for this band. And he's like, well, when do you come back? And I was like, I don't know. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to make it, though. I'm like Micah and the dudes have been like, dude, go join this band. Like, you got this. This could be it, you know? And I was like, well, you know, it's something to do. You know, like, I'm broke. What else am I doing? Hang out at my dad's house and wait for O Sleeper to go on tour again? You know what I mean? I think they were off because they were, like, writing a record or something. And so I had a couple months off. And I'd like work for Greeley Estates, like driving and you know, just merch guy stuff, right? Like being a merch guy, and I was in this like big thrash and burn tour or whatever. So I was kind of jumping around, but I didn't want to be a merch guy. I wanted to be a lead singer of a band, you know. But I got really comfortable being O Sleeper's merch guy, right? It was like this is so fun because I'm like, who gets to tour and work with their favorite band of all time? Like, yeah, I'm living the dream. You know what I mean? And but I knew it wasn't what I wanted, so my dad bought me a one-way ticket, and I flew out to North Carolina, and all I did was just listen to the Speak of Wolves record like nonstop for months, I shouldn't say months, probably like 2 weeks. I'm over exaggerating. Probably like hardcore, like 2 weeks, just like all I'm listening to is this band, right? And trying to get everything, and then like you go and you practice, and I'm like, oh my God, it sounds so different from what it sounds like in your headphones, right? And so I was like, practicing with them, and they're like, hey, we got this show on like Friday or something. And I was like, sick, this is going to be awesome. And dude, I bombed bigger, dude, than an atomic bomb. It was so bad. Like, I didn't know all the songs, and I was trying to figure it out. And I walked off stage and like put the face, like, hey, yeah, all right. Like went to the merch table, slinging t-shirts and stuff. And that was done. I walked right outside, and I called Shane from O Sleeper, and I was like, dude, I'm like, what was the worst show you've ever had? Have you ever had a bad show? And Shane just goes, no, I've never had a bad show. I know exactly what I'm doing. Like, when have I ever had a bad show? And I was just like, this is not. You're the worst person to call ever, in this moment. And he's like, well, you just practice. You just practice, you'd have it. And I was like, I gotta go. Like, this isn't it, So I called Lucas, and this was one of the last times I ever talked. Lucas is the old bass player for O Sleeper that passed away. Yeah. And I called him, dude, and I was like crying. I was like, bro, I blew it. Like, I'm just going to fly to Fort Worth, where they're all from. I'm like, I'll fly to Fort Worth. I'll hang out for a week, and we'll just, I'll go back to selling merch in this next tour you guys got. And Lucas was like, you're fired. And I was like, well, you can't fire me. Like, I'm the guy, And he's like, no, dude, no way. No, like, you're staying there. Like, he's like, you stop crying right now. And he's like, wipe your stupid face off. Get back inside with your head held high and own it, and just go be the front man. That's all you have to do. He's like, that is your band now. Make it your band. And he's like, everyone has a bad show, dude. I was like, well, I called Shane, and Shane said he's never had a bad. Sorry, my dogs are barking. I called Shane, and I told Lucas, I called Shane, and he's like, Shane said he never had a bad show, and Lucas is like, Shane's an asshole. You're an idiot for calling him. And I was like, all right. So, yeah, man, that was like my first 2 weeks in the band. Was just like, oh my God, what have I done?
So what did it mean for you to have, those guys, not just them, but like you said, that was your favorite band. What did it mean to you to have those guys saying, you're going to do this, shut up, go do it. Like, we don't want you out here anymore. Like, you need to do this. They had that much belief in you. What did that mean for you at that time?
Oh, it's huge, man, because it's like, and I talked to Micah and stuff, and they're like, dude, my dream since I was, 11 or 12 was like, all I want to do is be on Solid State Records. Like, that was it for me. Like, I thought I signed $1 million record deal. Like, that's what it felt like, like that's it. Really, I signed up for a $6 a day per diem. You know what I mean? But like,
what they don't tell you.
Yeah, that's right. But if you tour long enough, you probably make $1 million, with enough per diem saved up, but, no, man, it was huge. And it was like, it was what I needed, right? Like they could, I was so honed in on this one show, right? Cause I had so much riding on this, I'm like, I had a one-way ticket, I got the show, I bombed the show. Like, I know the words, the songs, but I'm messing up so hard in practice. It's like, I don't even know them, but I do, right? I'm like, oh my God, like freaking out. But to have those guys just be like, no, dude, you got this. Like, go back out there. Like, go back and hang up the phone, go inside, go sign some autographs, go sling t-shirts, and go hang with your band. Like, this is what you do, And that was huge, man. Like that was huge to have, like, your favorite band, who can, when you're so zoomed in and they can see the whole picture, like, that's massive. And that's what you lean on your people for, right? Like, your mentors, your family, your significant others, whatever. Like, you have to count on people to see your blind spots, and if those dudes hadn't said that, dude, I would have been like, will you please fly me to Fort Worth? You know what I mean? Like,
one thing that I think was really cool from that story is, like, you're their merch guy. And like I said, they had enough faith in you to just say, get back out there and do it again. You pick your head up and do it. But not only that, like, even before you got there, they said, no, you need to go and front this band. They saw their merch guy and said, no, this is where you need to be at. Now, one thing that I'd like to know, thinking about that, is you were already in your comfort zone of being their merch guy. You know, that's what you knew.
Yeah.
You wanted to be a front man, but you were in your comfort zone of being their merch guy. For people watching, listening to this, whatever, that may be in that same predicament, you know what I mean? Like they're in their comfort zone of selling merch, or they're in their comfort zone of doing photography for a band or whatever.
Yeah.
And they have that opportunity. What little piece of advice would you give them to get past that nerve of saying, this is my comfort zone, this is what I'm been doing, and I know how to do this?
Yeah, that's a great question, man. And you only live once, right? We're gonna live once, and we're gonna die, and you know, that's it. When I die, I believe that, you know, hopefully I go to heaven and stand in front of God. And I'm like, hey, I put these cool EPs out. Can I come in? You know what I mean? Like,
make some cool hats, some cool music.
I make some cool hats, dude. You know, it's cool. Yeah, dude. It's like, if you got a chance, man, you just got to take it, or you got to create your chance, right? Like, you have to create your chance. I mean, I'm a huge proponent of that. I mean, man, being in a hard situation can be an amazing catalyst for success, right? Before I started my hat company, you know, I was working at the hat shop that I'm actually working at now. And I had this big fight with my boss, and I just took my key off the key ring. I was like, here you go. Don't call me. See you later. Handed her key back, and I walked out. And I freaked out. I called a buddy. I was like, my daughter was just born, dude. My daughter was like, I don't know, 6 months old or something, right? Like, I was like, oh my God, what did I do? I got my kid. Like, I'm freaking out. Maybe she was a year old or something. But I called a buddy of mine who's an entrepreneur, and he's like, just start your hat company. Just start your hat company. And I was just like, oh, I can't. I don't have enough money. I don't know who to talk to you about it, you know? And he's like, just do a GoFundMe. I'm like, oh, dude, I don't know about that. Like, I don't want to do a GoFundMe. He's like, dude, you have kids. You have no room. Like, you don't have an excuse. Like, you have to do this. You know, like, just start a GoFundMe. And I was just like, oh my God, okay. So I did. I went home and I started GoFundMe, and I raised like, I don't know, $10,000 in a week. And I was like, oh, that's enough. And I just shut it off like an idiot, you know? Like, oh, okay. But that was me stepping off the ledge to go do this thing, right? Like I don't have any entrepreneurial skills, right? Like, I was listening to like how it's what's called like how it happened or how it's done on like NPR. It's like like they interview like so and so. It's like, I started Apple, you know, or like, I started Trader Joe's, and it was this, and I was like, well, if these dudes can do it, like, I could do it, you know. And I'm a high school dropout. I don't even have a GED, because I heard this rumor that Dave Grohl never got his GED, and I was like, that's tight. I'm gonna do that. And so I don't know if it's true. Allegedly, this dude doesn't have a GED, and that was enough for me. I was like, if Dave could do it, I could do it. No big deal.
Dave Grohl, if you end up watching this or listening to it, please confirm or deny if that is a true fact or not.
Please just lie to me if it's not true. Just like, yeah, I don't have it. So I'm like, oh, sweet, I feel so much better about myself. But no, man, it was cool. Sometimes you just gotta, like, how do I say it? Sometimes, man, like, you just have to take the step off the ledge.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because it's just you standing there. No one's going to shove you off. No one can do it for you. No one can kick you in the butt and be like, hey, dude, go. You know, it's just not going to happen. For most people, maybe it happens to some, right? But like, I was just like, hey, I have this trade that I can do. I'm just going to go and I'm going to do it. Right. Like, so when it's like, hey, I'm selling t-shirts, you know, I was scared. I was scared because I didn't know how to count in like music. You know what I mean? I'd never been on a full length record. I've just been doing guest vocals. Like August Burns started to come through Albuquerque, where I'm from. And I've asked Jake, like, hey, I'm really trying to get into a band. Like, could I do guest vocals tonight? And could you write a review on me? Right. And I had made this press kit, right? Like for myself. And I was like going on MySpace. It was like, you know, like, who, like, Memphis Mayfire needs lead singer. And I was like send,
Imagine that world. That would have worked out.
Oh my God, dude. It was so, I got to tell you, this is so funny, dude. So, like Maddie and Callan, I don't know. The majority of those guys live here in Nashville, right? And
Yeah.
I love Maddie. He's a sweet dude, and Callan's always been super kind to me. And I remember I bumped into Callan somewhere, like him and Maddie. Oh, dude, it was on this Thrash and Burn tour. It was on Thrash and Burn tour that I was on. And they were hanging on Greeley Estates bus or the RV, right? And I like met them and I was like, hey, I tried out for your band like last year. And I was like, but obviously I didn't get it. And
it's such like a petty high school. You're a high school drama. That's such a petty high school thing. It's like,
I know, dude. It was so.
I see. I didn't get it. Obviously, I didn't get it.
Clearly, you got to go with this guy who can grow a beard. Good for him. I still can't grow facial hair, so whatever.
Dude, I turned 40 next week and I still can't grow a beard.
You can't do it, dude.
No, I can't do it.
I got nothing, dude. Yeah, I got nothing. Yeah, your boy over here.
Mine's all patchy.
I'm gonna sneak into his house tonight though, and I'm gonna shave his beard. So
there you go. That's not creepy at all. You guys are close.
No, not that close.
Yeah, it's like this funny thing, and of course, like Maddie blows me out of the water. He can like actually sing. I yell, it's like all I do. But no, it was just funny, man. But it was like any avenue I could take, right? Any out that I saw, and like even now, like running my own business, these types of things. It's like I take chances. I'll email people. You know what I mean? Dude, like prime example, there's this dude, I love UFC. I've watched UFC since I was like a little kid, right? There's a dude named Cody Garbrandt who's a UFC fighter, right?
Yeah.
Pro dude. He was a champion for a while, whatever. I hit him up on, this dude's got like 3 million followers on Instagram, right? And I was just like, yo, dude, you should buy a hat from me. It'd be sick. I'd love to make you a hat. And I didn't think anything of it. I was like, that's cool, whatever, like that'd be cool. Maybe probably read it. Nothing. 5 minutes, I was like, bro, let's get it going. I was just like, oh my God. Like, what? This is amazing. I can't believe it. Like you just take these chances. The worst thing that's going to happen is that you're going to be told no, right? But the shocker is you're going to be told no by someone for the rest of your life, right? Whether it's your spouse or your boss or whatever, you're just going to get told no. And I think obviously if you're like, hey, I want to buy like this flamethrower and your wife's like, don't do that, and you do it, it's like, okay, you're an idiot, you probably shouldn't do that, right? But that's a different thing. But I'm saying just because a door closes, man, like there's other doors, there's other avenues, right? There's other ways that you can go and reach your dream and accomplish your dream. Like if you would have told me 10 years ago, like, hey dude, you're gonna have a record deal, and also like a few years after that, 3 years after that, whatever, you've been making hats for like some of the biggest country stars in the world, I'd be like, you're on drugs. Like it's great. Dude, my life is crazy. I love it. Even with all the bad stuff that happened, it's like my life still rules. I'm incredibly grateful and thankful, But yeah, I just think people, it's like, dude, just take the chance, man. Just go do it. Like, just if you're passionate about something, there's a way to make a living doing your passion, right? Like podcasts alone, dude. It's like people listen to us talk about whatever. It's amazing. Like how cool is that, right? Like that we have this thing that we could do, come talk about music and passions, and like people are gonna listen to it. It's like, and you can make a living off of it. Like it is possible. It's a real thing, Like if dudes can be like quote unquote artists on Instagram and like all they do is like put like one strip of paint across the giant canvas and everyone's just like, oh my God, that's amazing. I'm like, I don't get it because my 6-year-old daughter could do it, but good for them, right? It's cool. Like it's like the possibilities are endless. So I'm a huge advocate for people who are like, dude, I'm passionate about making umbrellas. I'm like, God, dude, then you better be the best goddamn umbrella maker of the world. You have to be undeniable, right? And that is my mindset with my company is like, do I have the biggest hat company? No, but I make hats for some of the biggest names in the world. You know what I mean? I make my hats, dudes, out of the front room of my house. Like, and I had a shop. I had a shop on the east side of town, and I had a shop in downtown. I was like, this isn't it for me, you know. And I kept moving things around. But it's like, I may not have the biggest hat company. I may not have the biggest Instagram page or YouTube page or whatever. I'm like, but you better believe my work is undeniable. Like, and I'll put my hats up against anyone. I just will. Like, you know, me as a front man, I'm like, I don't know, I'm like a 7 out of 12. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like I'm a strong six, you know? But, and I think that was kind of my mindset, like even going into this new EP, right? Like to kind of bring things back to the EP was, you know, again, I had this terrible year, and I was just like, oh my God, like what am I doing? And you know, what's happened in my life? And when Andrew brought the idea up of this EP and writing new songs, I was like, I'm gonna make my parts just like undeniable. Like you can't deny it. Like you cannot deny this dude has had a shit year. Yeah, I'm better now. I'm doing great, right? But to be able to go back to that place, like mentally when I was writing, like that was kind of like a brutal thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's a song, I'll tell you about this song on the record. It's called Half King. It seems to be everyone's favorite, hence why we named it Half King, right? And I got the title from, I was watching this show. Does this sound so lame? Do you guys know that show, The Crown?
I know it. I've never watched it. But
Oh, dude, I'm a history buff, so I'm like, I love it. It's incredible. Like, yeah. But the Queen's brother, I can't think of his name. He was a real, like, he's a real piece of shit, right? Like, can we cuss on this podcast?
Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I was like, oh my God. So like beep it up. But yeah, the dude's just a real POS. Like you can just look at history and see what he did. The dude, like Nazi sympathizer, like he was terrible, right? But he had but he did do this. No, it's not that. But there's a line in the show where he's like talking to his sister, who's the queen, and he was like, you know, he's like, I'll always just be half king, and my curse is that I have no kingdom, right? And I was just like, dude,
Bars.
What a line! Like that goes. Like he knows. He's like, I'm supposed to be king. I'm never gonna be king. You know what I mean? Like he was like, because the dude was awful, right? But do I think he said that in real life? No. But the dude whoever wrote that line, genius, right? Like, but man, it just that. I was just thinking about that line. I was like, God, I'll always be half king. Like, I'll always be half king. And, I went through this, divorce, and, like, I felt that way. Like, I felt like I was like, oh, dude, I'm like half king. I feel like half king because it's like I have 2 kids. Right? Like I get them on certain days of the week and I'm like trying to figure all this shit out, and it's just brutal, right? Like, and I'll never forget, dude, I think I had like $30 to my name, right? Like everything tanked, right? It was insane. I had to like pay all this money. It was nuts, dude. Like business upside down, personal life upside down. Like I was like, I'm so lost. And I remember I was so broke that I was trying to figure out what to feed my kids, right? And I was like going through the cupboards and I had pancake mix. And so I was like, guys, breakfast for dinner. And they're like, oh, let's go, you know? And I remember, dude, I was just like sitting there internally, like breaking, right? Like, I'm just like, dude, my world is on fire right now. Like, I got nothing. And I'm making pancakes for my kids for dinner with water because I didn't even have milk, but I like had to put gas in my car so I could drive them to school. You know what I mean? Like that's where I was at. It was just it was insane. Like selling hats to so and so I can get this money to like get this stuff to buy for this other dude's hat, like robbing Peter to pay Paul, that kind of thing, right? I was in such a bad way, dude. It was so bad. And I was like, there's just no way out of this. Like, there's no way I'm never going to get my head above the water. Like, I should just like blow my brains out in my backyard because I got nothing. Like, I'm just going to like take my kids to school and I'll drop them off. And like, I mean, I had like letters written out. Like, I was just like, fuck this. I'm done. I'm just so done with living like this. Right. And I was going, it's funny now when I think back on it, but like I was taking my kids to church on Sunday so they could hang with other kids, you know what I mean? Like, and like get snacks. And I would sit in the furthest row in the back corner as I could. And I would just like sit there sometimes. Right. Then whatever, you make friends, you can move up a little bit, whatever. But I remember for a long time, I would just sit in the back row. And then I would take them home, do lunch. And then like when 6 o'clock rolled around, I would take them to this other church in town and drop them off at children's church so they could like get a snack and like hang out. Right. And I would like, this church was like massive. It was in town. So they had like a balcony thing in the back, you know? So I would like go all the way to the back and I would just sit back there by myself, dude. And I wasn't even like angry at the Lord or anything, right? Like I didn't blame God or anything like that. I just was just like, this is just where I'm at. This is just my circumstances right now. And I know that I know that my actions and other people's actions have put myself here, and God ain't got nothing to do with it, you know? So it's never a thing where I ever like question God or his grace or his loyalty or anything like that, you know? So I get emotional thinking about it. I haven't thought about it in a while. But I remember just being like, if this is how life's going to be, I don't want it. Like, I got nothing. I'd be doing my kids a disservice by like putting them through life like this. Like, who wants to go to church twice a week? Twice in one day. You know what I mean? They're like, they just want to hang with me. I'm like, yeah, here, let's go. Time for church. They're like, again? I'm like, again, it's gonna be great. There's, pirate booty there. It's gonna be awesome, you know. But I can go back. I've never forgot what that felt like, right? And I think that's why it makes me emotional now, because it's like, and I'm not angry, I'm not bitter, there's nothing like that. Like, I'm so grateful for where I'm at now, you know? And I'm so grateful for the dudes in the band to like let me just say what I want to say, and they've always done that. Like, lyrics have always been my thing, you know? And but yeah, we got this song called Half King, and the chorus are like, it's like my favorite song I've ever written. And the chorus says, I'm just laying around breaking at the thought of the sound, nothing new comes my way. And it says, what does it say after that? I'm just laying around breaking at the thought of the sound. Yeah, it says this other line that's like totally escaping me, and I cannot think of it right now. And I just listened to the song today because we got masters back like 2 days ago, so we're all giddy about it. But
still forgetting the lyrics, aren't you?
Still, dude, always, yeah, dude, no, yeah, nothing's changed. You know, here, actually, can I pull it up real quick?
Yeah, sure. We love a premiere.
Okay, cool. Here, let me just, I'll tell you guys the chorus real quick, and then I'll feel better. Let me see here. Yeah, Half King. Okay, yeah, I'm just laying around, breaking at the thought of the sound. Nothing new comes my way. I was born full. Now I'm gonna die empty. Now I'm just pulling dead weight. And that was like, I could just remember being in my backyard one night, like just I had my pistol in my hand and I was like, I'm gonna just do it. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, nothing new is coming my way. Nothing's gonna change, right? Like, it's just dead weight. Like my life, my existence felt like dead weight, you know? And it's like, I mean, dude, I was like, really all I had to do was just go get a job. You know what I mean? Like, that was the thing. I had so much pride, man. I was like, no, I'm like this badass hat maker and all this stuff. And it was so humbling. Like, it was the most humbling experience ever, right? And it's like, I can look back on that time and I could be bitter and whatever, and I could, or else I could just take responsibility and be like, man, I totally just, like, as soon as I closed my shop down in downtown, I should have just like went and got a job, because it would have like negated everything that happened. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so I learned from it now, you know, but man, you know, when you're going through it, you're going through it, right?
Yeah.
It's
So
brutal.
a question for you about all of that is,
Yeah.
you said you lost your house, you know, your wife and all that stuff happened to you. How did you, when you did get a job or whatever you did to start making money, you know, how did you obviously have a house now, you have your business, you know, you have your kids a couple times a week, like you said. How did you pull yourself out of that to get stable again? Because there are people who may be in a similar situation, but, you know, they may have a job or they may be homeless, you know, like how did you pull yourself out of that to, I guess, be somewhat what you consider successful now or get along now?
You know that boss I told you about that I handed her key and I told her to never call me again?
Did she call you?
I called her.
Oh, you called her? Okay.
I called her. Yeah, I did. Yeah. I was just like, hey, listen. I was like, I need a job and I need a place to live. And no questions asked. She goes, can you start tomorrow? And I said, yeah. She goes, all right, be at the shop tomorrow, 9:30. And my house that I have, you can rent it. You can rent it from me. You don't need a deposit. Just move in.
Wow. Okay.
It was amazing. Yeah, it was amazing, dude. And then like I got plugged into a church that my like dear friend, his name is Van. He leads worship there. He's like the most incredible musician he can like count, you know. And he can sing. Like, dude, he's got like songs on TV shows that like you're like, he's like, oh yeah, I wrote that song, and I'm like, what? And I'm like, let me see your BMI statement real quick, you know. And I was like, bro, your royalty check. Oh my god, like what is that like?
Like everybody over there in Nashville just has like just some random guy in the church just has TV credits because of course he does. It's Nashville,
dude. Yeah, it's amazing, you know. So like he was like, hey, dude, like you should come check out my church. It's like really small and cool. And I was just like, I really don't like church. You know, I'm like, that's not really for me. And he's like, hey, you might, I don't know, well, if you get bored, come check it out. And he was just super cool. And I was like, yeah, all right. So I just like, we went and tried his church. And I was like, oh, this is like really cool. And it's small and quaint and like really awesome. And everyone who goes there is incredible. And yeah, he has like some mentors and some dudes that are close to him that are like very successful businessmen, you know? And I just hit one of them up and I was like, hey, dude, like, I really need some help. Like, would you be open to like maybe just getting a cup of coffee or something? And the dude was like, yeah, for sure, man. And it was funny because I actually saw him like a few days later at Van's son's birthday party. And he was like, hey, dude, tell me about your business. Like, what's going on? And man, I just gave him the full, like, I was like, this is what my year has been. And he was just like, oh my God, like that's nuts. And I was like, yeah, so I'm looking for like an investor or someone to help me. And he's like, yeah, well, like I'd love to get like a meeting with you, my business partner or something. And I was like, okay, cool. And I was at church a week later. So like a week from the day I was at church, and I was sitting next to this guy, and and my girlfriend wasn't at church. She was working, and so it was like just me. And I was like, oh, there's my buddy. I'll go sit next to Kurt. So I went and sat next to Kurt, and it's funny because like Van like leads worship at church and stuff like that, and like worship is like my least favorite thing in the world. I just like listen to like the sermon. You know what I mean? You know. And so every time Dan looks at him in the crowd, I'm always just like, hey dude, like speed it up, like let's get this thing over with, and like, you know. But no, they're all really good folks over there. And I was just sitting down and just kind of like doing my thing, and dude Kurt sits down and puts his arm around me, and he's like, hey, I want to help you. And I was just like, what? And he's like, I want to help you. I want to help you with your business. He's like, I don't know what it looks like. I don't know how to do it, but I'm going to help you. And we're going to get your feet back on the ground. And I don't know how to do it, but we're going to figure it out together. And dude, I just like, I cried like a baby. I couldn't believe it. I was just like, oh my God, dude, like this is insane. I can't believe this dude wants to help me. And then he's like, let's get you in the office and, let's have a meeting with my business partner and stuff. And I was like, oh my God. Okay. So I spent like 2 weeks every night on Chat GPT, just making a freaking business plan. And it was so good, dude, because I had like walked into their office and I was like, my girlfriend's like, listen, go to Kinko's, like go print out something nice that like, you present them. You know what I mean? Like she's like way smarter than I am and like knows how to do this kind of stuff. And I'm just like, yeah, it's whatever, It's like I was not responsible. I didn't make time to go print this thing out like I wanted to, right? So I was like, well, crap, like what do I got? So I found these bright yellow folders and like shoved this business plan in there and like went to their office. We had dinner and they're in my backpack and we were sitting there eating in the office, whatever. And the guy's like, are you guys ready? I'm like, yeah, let's do it, And so I was like, let me get my stuff. So I go grab my backpack. I just pulled these like bright yellow ass folders, dude, just like handed them out. And the dude started laughing. He's like, bro, what is this? He's like, I've never seen a pitch and like a lemon yellow folder. Like, what is going on? I go, that's right. And you'll never forget it either. And he was just like, all right. Because I got it and I like slapped like a 3 horses sticker on it. You know what I mean? It was like, so, I was like, I don't want here. It's perfect, whatever. But yeah, man, I just like went for it, And so those dudes just like, yeah, it's been awesome. It's been a huge hole to crawl out of, but it's like, it's worth it because, I mean, I make a living making hats still, like I may not have my store or whatever, but it's like, dude, I still get paid to make hats. Like that's, and for forever, right? Since 12, like, I'm going to be in a band. So I'm going to be in a band and my wife's going to be a tour widow. I'm never going to have kids and it's going to be sick, that I'm just like, oh, you couldn't pay me enough to go back on tour,
Mm-hmm. So I'm curious about how did you get into the hat thing? It's such a niche thing to get into, which is good because you find a niche market that it's not a lot of competition. You can have a lot of success. So like, how did you, I guess, come up with this thing? It's like, oh, I want to make hats. Like this is my thing that I'm passionate about. I love doing. How did you get into that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I used to rodeo back home in New Mexico. I used to like ride bulls for a couple of years in high school. So we always like would like shape our hats before like, dances, like 4-H dances or whatever, or before like buck outs and stuff. So I had this, while I was living in Nashville, I had this one hat and I shaped it like John Wayne from Rio Bravo. Like it's not like a total cowboy hat. It just like looked really rad, whatever. And I walked to this hat shop and the owner was like, I'll love that hat. And I was like, do you want to give me a job? Like, because I would love to have a job here and learn how to make hats. And she was like, yeah, sure. And I was like, sick. I tour all the time. Like I'm always gone. And she was like, okay, cool. Like no big deal. And so I started working there and I worked there for several years. And then after Dead in the Shadow came out, like some of us were like really going through some stuff. You know what I mean? Like it was like we've been kind of touring. The record didn't really do what we thought it was going to do, and like Solid State was kind of like a different animal then. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Things had kind of changed so much from like Find Your Worth, Come Home, and like because we did like Find Your Worth, then did like New Bones, and then all that. Then we did Dead in the Shadow. But yeah, that's like really how I just kind of like wandered into it, dude. Like I wandered into a hat shop and I just thought it was cool. And then I ended up loving it. And I was like, man, this is like one thing that I really love and that I'm passionate about besides being in a band, you know? So, yeah, that was really it. It's kind of game over at that point.
And you mentioned that they couldn't pay you to go out on tour. So you guys not planning to tour or do anything like that anymore? Or what's the deal with performing?
Well, yeah, we're going to do some shows. We're definitely doing shows.
That was going to be like my next question was like, as a dad myself, like I've got 2 kids and you guys have kids and all this stuff. And like, for me, like I was telling Trenton earlier, I was like, I've stepped back a lot on doing this, like doing concert photography and all of this stuff because I got tired of saying goodnight over FaceTime.
Yeah.
And that was going to be like, what is your work-life balance going to look like with a new record coming out, as far as touring? Is it going to be like some weekend warrior type stuff and like doing long weekends or maybe a couple of weeks out of the year? Like what's that going to look like with this new record?
Like what we've talked about is like maybe some festivals, and then we're definitely doing a Nashville show. And then I think there's going to be like an Alabama show. Maybe, I don't know. I just got like wind of that like 2 days ago that I'm still talking to some people about, but hopefully, yeah, like we'd like to do like maybe some stuff like in the South, you know what I mean?
Well, we definitely need a Greenville show since Greenville, South Carolina is where you officially become the front man of To Speak of Wolves at.
Yeah, dude, we should. That'd be freaking awesome. I don't know yet. We're just kind of like taking it, like day by day, and we're just stoked that we have this new EP out, and it's cool because like everybody, excuse me, in the text thread, everyone in the band, like we're all so proud of these songs. Like everyone's like, dude, this is killer. Like I love this, because I'm like, there's some songs on other records. I'm just like, yeah, it's all right. Like I'm not crazy about that song. And everyone's like, oh, but I love that song. I'm like, yeah, it's okay. Or like, I'm like, I love this song. And, someone's like, it's all right. I'm like, you in your mind? This song's amazing. Like, listen to what? Do you even read my lyrics? They're incredible. No, I'm just joking. Like, no, it's like, yeah, so we're all just kind of figuring, stuff out. But like, again, like a lot of the dudes play for like bigger country acts, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like those boys are gone, you know what I mean? And their stuff booked all the way to next year, with them, so I don't know, but we know we're doing some shows. And it's actually funny because I was taking my dog out earlier to take a piss and I had this like random idea for a music video. And I was just like, oh, that would be sick. Like we could do something like this, do something like that. So I'm probably going to call my video guy and be like, how much we need to make a music video? But yeah, I mean, I don't know. We're trying not to get caught up in all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dude, it's so funny that you mentioned like touring and stuff. I was just, I was at the grocery store a few weeks ago and, the lead singer for Our Last Night was there.
Okay.
The lead singer. I can't remember that dude's name. He's
Trevor,
that's right, dude. Yeah, Trevor. So I was walking in, and he was right there, and we like looked at each other, did a double take. And I walked over, and I was like, "Hey, man." And he's like, "How do I know you?" And I was like, "I was a Sleepers merch guy on that tour that you guys were on." And
dude, I went to that. I went to that tour. Yeah, it was Conditions was on that, right?
Dude, I love Conditions, dude.
Yeah, I think I went to the. I think I was at the Richmond show at the Canal Club with Haste Today.
Yeah.
Oh Sleeper and Our Last Night and Conditions was on it. So.
Yeah.
And then I think wasn't Embracing Goodbye the opener for that show?
Probably. God, that band is dude. Those dudes.
Yeah, that was like goated lineup right there with those bands.
Yeah. Yeah, I love those Conditions dudes. But yeah, I mean I saw Trevor and we were talking and I was like, are you touring still? And he's like, no, we have like one more tour we're doing and then we're done. And we're just like not touring. And I was like, that's crazy. Why? And he's like, because we make too much money off of YouTube. Like, I'm like, yeah, absolutely. It makes sense. You know what I mean? And I think people change, man. It changes, unless you're like Metallica or something or like, big country star. It's like touring with kids, man, like it's got to be so hard. I don't know how dudes do it.
Yeah.
You know,
I interviewed
don't
John
know.
Cooper years ago, and we talked about that. And he was telling me, he goes, our day is scheduled out by the hour. He goes, and we have a nanny that comes on tour with us the entire time. And like while we're doing our thing, he goes, she's working with the kids. We all make sure we have lunch together. He goes, I spend 2 hours with the kids in the afternoon. And this is when they were little. Like, I think their daughter's in college now. But yeah, he said that their entire day is like planned out. Now, I did talk to Matt many years ago from Spoken, and that's when like him and his wife and his kids would like all tour around when he was doing a lot of acoustic stuff. And he did say, he goes, man, he goes, it is really nice having my kids on tour with me. He goes, because like we can just go hike if we want to, or just make a day out of it. He goes, even though I have a show in at that evening. So
Yeah,
there's pros and cons to it, I guess.
oh, for sure, dude. Spoken. Good Lord, that band's been around for forever. Right?
Yeah, we got the deep cut. Yeah, we got the deep cuts over here.
Dude.
So Spoken is the reason I got into concert photography.
That's amazing.
They hooked me up. So I was just this dude trying to cut my teeth in photography back in like 07. And they used to come to Greenville all the time to the channel. And they were coming, and this is when Jeff was still in the band with them, and this is MySpace days. And so I messaged them on MySpace, and I'm like, hey, you guys are coming to Greenville, and like I would love to take pictures of your band.
And bitches, your boy's got a camera. Let's go.
And so I still have the photo pass. Like I have every photo pass I've ever had from a show, but I still have their photo pass. But it was them. They hooked me up a lot, and then Becoming the Archetype.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I toured those dudes a bunch, man.
Yeah, those two bands, man. So,
dude, can I tell you a funny Spoken
absolutely
story?
Absolutely.
So we were doing this tour, and like our van was broken or something. We needed a van, so we called this dude Scoop, who played guitar in Spoken, right?
Yeah.
We're like, hey, can we rent your van and we'll just like rent your van from you? Dude, he was like, yeah, for sure. I just have to drive it. And we're like, sick, go ahead and drive. Like, please, that's awesome. I'll sleep all day, you know? And this is, you know, everyone in the band has all different beliefs, right? We always have, you know what I mean? Like, I get, like, I'm a Christian, you know. I write my lyrics kind of, you know, around my faith, or struggles with faith, or struggles with staying alive, apparently, you know what I mean? Like, anyways, you know, so Andrew's not a Christian, right? He's like, I don't know, agnostic, atheist, whatever, right? You know, and which is part of the beauty of him being in that band and just being so awesome. You know, I love Andrew. He's my brother, you know, and we click so well. And anyways, he and I, Scoop's driving, and this dude's like, hey, do you guys mind if I like listen to a sermon? And we're just like, nah, man, it's like, have at it, you know? And so this dude like puts on this sermon, and it maybe gets 5 minutes in, and I look back at Andrew, and Andrew's just like, he's like, he puts his headphones in, you know, and he's like, bro, I can still hear it over my headphones. And I go, hey, just say something to him. Tell him to like fade it up to the front. And he's just like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good idea. He goes, hey, Scoop, why don't you fade that shit up to the front, dude? And dude, I died. I weeping, laughing, dude. It was like one of the funniest moments. And all of a sudden you just hear it just go, and then the Lord. it's like one of my favorite memories I ever had, and I was like, yeah, maybe we should have got a different guy to like drive us for this tour. But he turned out to be okay. He did it a couple times. It was cool. But after that tour, dude, everything was your boy just had headphones in the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was pretty funny.
I will plug an artist here because you said you didn't like worship music or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you remember the band Confide, but their drummer Joel, he is now doing solo music under Avery Parkway, and he put out a record this year. It's pretty long, but it's like alternative worship. It's got like pop punk guitar riffs, metalcore moments, screaming breakdowns. There's one song that sounds like The Weeknd mixed with a breakdown at the end, and it's all like worship music. Worship lyrics. It's really freaking good. Like,
wait, does he have like really long hair?
He used to, yeah. Like I think it's shorter now, but he was the drummer for Confide before they stopped.
Okay, I don't know who that is.
And the clean singer. So
okay.
Confide.
I know who Confide is.
Oh yeah.
I just don't know the drummer. I feel like Confide was like really big for a minute.
They had their moment, yeah, but he's been doing his solo stuff too, and I thought about that when you say you didn't like the worship music. So I was like, oh, maybe he'll like Avery Parkway because that's worship music, but it's like alternative in a way.
Dude,
so.
It's so funny because are you guys like familiar with worship music at all?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so like I'm not trying to sound like a dick. Like I've made hats for like Brandon Lake and like David Leonard.
Brandon Lake's a former emo kid. I heard him on the Good Charlotte Artist Friendly podcast. He's talking about the Tooth and Nail bands and stuff.
Dude, I had no idea. So like, it's so funny because like, I had no idea who Brandon Lake was. Like, I got a message from a buddy who was like, "Dude, hey, this guy is like looking for a hat. You should hit him up." And I was like, "Okay." And I was like, "Hey, dude, like I make hats. You should get one." And he was like, "Oh, I need a hat." Blah 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 blah. And it kind of just took off from there. And I had no idea who that dude was. Like, I had no clue. And then, like, David Leonard, do you know who David Leonard is?
I don't know who he is.
Okay, David Leonard wrote, like, some massive worship song. I mean, it's huge, right?
Okay.
He probably has, like, a pool made of unicorn bones because of that song. But, like, he's great, dude. He's one of the best dudes I've ever met in my entire life. I love him to death. And he's actually become like a very, very dear friend. And I was like, dude, I'm like, man, I'm getting stuck like making hats. These like worship dudes, I just can't even stand their music. It's terrible, And they're like the greatest dudes ever. And they're like, what do you listen to? I'm like, anything but this, dude. Anything but this. Like, for example, this is shows you how out of touch I am with like that kind of music, right? Or like really kind of any kind of music, to be honest with you. When we were recording the new EP, my buddy, that dude Van I was telling you about, he put on this song, showed me this song, and I was like, who is this? And he's like, it's the 1975.
Oh, okay.
And I was just like, dude, this is incredible. Like, are these guys new? And he was like, bro, where have you been? Like, what do you listen to? And I was like, I listened to the same Shai Hulud record, the same Nodes of Ramday record, and like O Sleeper, and like Refused, and like that's all, and like Blindside. I'm like, that's what you get out of me, really. You know what I mean? Like, so I discovered the 1975, immediately fell in love with them. I'm like, these guys are incredible. Did you guys know they're British? That's so cool. You know what I mean? Like, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I found out they're like a teeny bopper band. I'm like, what? I'm like, the dude's writing a love song to heroin. Like, how are they a teeny bopper band? Like, it's amazing,
here's a little bit of tidbit about them too. I'm actually a Taylor Swift fan, and her last record, I think, was a song about a little fling she and their singer of that band had, and then she name drops the starting line in that song. The band, The Starting Line.
No way.
Yeah, and the Starting Line post on social media, like a little themed type of thank you letter on their social media, thanking her for mentioning their band and her song and stuff, because she didn't have to do that. But yeah,
that's amazing.
She's an emo girl. Like, I listened to an old interview of her from 14. She's talking about having Simple Plan and Yellow Card CDs. So
There you go, dude. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, my buddy Van like dated one of her like backup dancers. So like
Nice.
went to like a Christmas party and she's like, I got everybody TVs. It's like their Christmas gift. He said he's never seen anyone who's worked so hard as that girl. He's like, dude, he's like, one time they flew us all to like, I don't know, the British Virgin Islands, like Jamaica or something, right? They like she like rented an entire beach for her entire crew or whatever, right? And like significant others. And he was like, dude, day one of us like out in the beach, he's like, I'm walking out, I got like a drink, I'm like ready to go, you know. He doesn't drink anymore, by the way. I should just say that. Van does not drink anymore. But anyways, at the time, he was partying. So he's like, I walked over to the cabana, like where everyone was sitting. He goes, she had like magazines that she was cutting out, and she was already piecing together her next tour. Like she was already getting like making an inspiration board or whatever, like for her new album or tour or something. He's like, that's how hard she works. It was insane.
Yeah.
I was just like, you gotta respect it, dude. She's massive.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, but yeah, we've been going about over an hour now. We don't want to keep you here all night, so I'm sure we'll link up and talk about some more stuff when you guys are playing shows. But do you guys have a release date for this EP, and what's the name of it again?
So the EP is called Half King. I think it's supposed to come out in like November, December, I think. But we might sit on it for these shows. Like maybe for these shows. We're trying to figure that out right now. But I know we got a single picked out. We're gonna drop that. About to do some new t-shirts. I think we're gonna do vinyl as well, which is fun. Okay. So you can have some more vinyl.
We'll grab it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do I get a new baseball tee?
I don't know if we're gonna make a baseball tee. I'm like messing with all the designs now. I'm trying to like figure out what I want to do. You know,
will there be a hat? Will there be a To Speak of Wolves hat with like engraved into it or something?
There should be. We should probably do To Speak of Wolves.
You make hats. You make hats. You should do.
I know. I'm just like, yeah. We got maybe do like a raffle or something fun. You know. But yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But yeah, we're all super excited and. I mean, it's fun because like we just got the Masters, like it's like done like 2 days ago, so we're all like on cloud nine and just super pumped and just super stoked that like people care and they're like stoked. You know, it's pretty amazing. You know, to be like, man, I joined this band when I was 21. That was 14 years ago. You know, like this is nuts. You know, so it's cool.
I do want to ask one more thing though about that. What are, I guess, since you guys aren't, you know, like grinding it on the road, you know, doing the whole like band thing now, what are the goals for this EP and what are the goals for the band in this kind of era that y'all are in? And then we can, unless Josh has anything else, we can wrap it up there.
I got kids to put to bed, man. I'm in trouble. I'm going to go ahead and just tell you, I'm in trouble.
Oh no.
Yeah, we can just do that last question and wrap it up there.
Yeah. I mean, I think the goals for this is like, for me, to be completely honest with you, I was so selfish with this EP and like lyrics and stuff. It was so therapeutic for me that like no one could ever hear it, and I'd still think it's amazing. You know what I mean? Like without sounding like a dick, like oh, our EP is amazing. It's like no, it's like. The fact that you get, you know, a bunch of dudes together to write some songs. I mean, Andrew wrote the whole thing. We came in and just put our spin on it, you know? And so for Andrew to take time to do that, for Phil to fly in for a few days, do some drum stuff, like, you know, track all his drums and all that stuff. I mean, Alex, our bass player, he plays pedal steel. Like there's pedal steel on this record. Like it's sick. And I don't know. I think my goal is people hear it and connect with it, right? That's always been my goal with all of our records and EPs. It's like, you know, just that random dude who's just like, hey man, like I needed this song, you know, like I needed this record, or that girl who's like, I needed this song, you know, and like, and that song is mine. For people to claim it as their own and just be stoked on it, like that rules, you know, like we're not gonna go on like a 6-month long run or anything like that, you know what I mean? So like I think playing some shows and seeing people, you know, hearing people sing with with the band, like sing the song. Like, dude, that's such a wild experience. Like that blows my mind. Like when that happens, we play shows, you know, when we do, and people are singing along. I'm just like, holy crap, dude. I can remember recording, you know, that song off Dead in the Shadow in Atlanta, and I was like, I locked myself in a room and was just writing lyrics like crazy, you know, and see people still connect with it. It's like, dude. So yeah, the response has been incredible. I you know, every time I look at Instagram, someone's like, "Oh my God, yes!" And it's like, "Really? Holy crap, this is amazing!" You know, like, holy crap. You know, I have makeup on my face for my daughter. You know what I mean? And I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's like the most brutal record ever." You know what I mean? Like wearing a tiara with my daughter. You know, so it's fun. But yeah, I think that's it, man. I think we all wanted. I think the only goal was to put something out that we're really, really proud of, and we've done that. And so for us, it's like, hey, the job's already done. Now we just get to sit back and have a good time. You know, that's cool.
Yeah, well, Gage, thanks so much for your time tonight. It was fun hanging out. We're definitely going to do this again. Maybe do a song premiere or something, if it's okay with you guys and label. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. And real quick, where can people find your hat company?
Yeah, dude, it's just 3horseshatco.com. And I'm on Instagram, 3horseshatco.
Awesome. So, well, for Joshua, Trenton Worsham, and Gage from To Speak of Wolves, thanks for watching, everybody, and listening.